Childish Gambino right now.
Call me Donald. This is Donald. I'm Donald. This is Donald.
So the follow-up to that is, where is Childish Gambino and what happened to him?
Nothing. He grew up. No, he's fine. I think Childish Gambino was always like a project that I wanted. Like, it's funny. Like I just remembering this. RZA from Wu-Tang, when first started coming out, he was gonna direct a video for me. And I think he said something about, he's like, I think Childish Gambino is like the story of a boy turning into a boss. And that always kind of stuck with me, where it's like, but also I feel like it was always just me trying to like still have fun, like, like not be an adult, So Childish Gambino, he worked on this last project, and then I think he just walked into the ocean and just never.
So when you say last project, just to be clear, what are we speaking about?
There's a project, the project I put out, the 31520.
Yeah, love.
That no one's ever heard of. That's like, like kind of like people didn't even know I put it out. It was originally titled At a Vista. It was supposed to be At a Vista. And, but we put it out kind of like quickly. I didn't master or mix it. I just kind of put it out just because, I was going through a lot, and like, niggas thought everybody was going to die because it was, the pandemic. So, we put it out, but we finished it. It's At a Vista. We're putting that out. But then after that, there's a Childish Gambino album, like the final Childish Gambino.
Okay, pause for a second.
Okay. I just dropped a big out, but we finished it. It's At a Vista. We're putting that out. But then after that, there's a Childish Gambino album, like the final Childish Gambino album.
Okay, pause for a second.
Yeah.
Let's
I just dropped a big
steps.
Yeah, we'll do it in steps.
Number one, I genuinely did love that 31520 album, even though I just was completely confused on how to say I loved it. Because it was just numbers.
There's no context.
Yeah, but there was a song, and it felt really folky. Absolutely love that song. I don't know.
Yeah, Littlefoot Bigfoot.
Okay,
there's a video for that.
There's a video.
Yeah, it's great.
And when is that?
I think it's in the next couple weeks. Like, Hero directed it.
Wow.
It's. I love the video. It just looks great and it feels good. But I always always like that song is our Hey Ya a little bit. It's like a really sad song.
Kids love that song.
Kids, but it's kids love that song. My son loves that song. But yeah, it's like, that song. There's not a lot. It's not easy to put that album into context, and I feel like I kind of learned that because I was like, originally it's just hard with streaming, because if it was just an album, you just kind of there's certain boundaries, but it's streaming,
right.
So even the time code thing, it's like, that's not how people listen to music anymore. It works. I feel like that album works better as a vinyl, and the special vinyl we have coming out for this, I think, makes it all make sense.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
And there was something else you said about a new project.
Yeah.
What are you fucking talking about?
You sound like every fan on Reddit, like right now. It's just like, what the hell?
We've been asking for it so long.
You have. I mean, like, well, this project is for you guys. Honestly, this project is. I swear, like, this project. I just wanted to say thanks, because I feel like my fans have been so patient, and I feel like they've been starving, and they're great fans. They're like some of my favorite people, and that's hard. Some people get fans and they don't like them, and I feel like my fans, I really love them, and this project is for them. And it's like, I started working on this film called Bando Stone in the New World, and I always loved soundtracks. Like, I loved the Batman soundtrack that Prince did. I loved the Batman Forever soundtrack. Soundtracks were a big thing in the 90s. And this last Childish Gambino album is a soundtrack to this film. So, and it's for, my fans.
That sounds exciting.
It's great. I love it. I think it sounds great.
Is this a Childish Gambino project, though, just to reiterate.
This is like it's an original soundtrack done by Childish Gambino.
That's amazing. I cannot wait for this. This is
nice. It's really cool.
So I just wanted to sidestep. I have this, as the salacious shit.
Yeah.
And not because I'm forced to, it's because I want to.
Okay. I'm here for it.
You've seen what has happened recently, the Big Three debate, state of music in general. I'm always curious about what you think about some of these things, because it seems like you come from a place of purity, but it still ends up divisive.
Yeah.
And I'm curious just what you think about where music is now, amid also specifically sort of like your thoughts on Cole and Kendrick and Drake and everything that's happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like, we're all growing up. It's just not, music is, it's so ubiquitous. I don't think people give enough credit to the fact that it's like, when I was a kid, it was pretty hard to hear music whenever you wanted. Like, and the radio was dictated by gatekeepers. Like, people were telling you what to listen to, even when you did. But there were no iPods. There were no, maybe you had a Discman, maybe you had a tape player. I remember I had a tape player. But so music in general is like, I forgot who was saying this, but like the artist but it's like, yeah, it's like it's like everything else. It's like it's worthless unless you put value on it. The streams don't make it value. It's so crazy that we have all music of all time at our fingertips. So it makes things less valuable in a sense unless we add value to them. And I feel like we're kind of seeing that with the Kendrick and Drake thing, like the Kendrick, Drake, J. Cole thing, where it's like, yeah, like we're all, man, we all got kids, man. Like we're all growing up, and this like wrestler idea of like, this person stands for this and this person is like, man, nah, we're all people, like a little bit. And like, we're not that part of, I think I saw like somebody be like, man, therapy ruined hip hop, like kind of thing. I'm like, man, do you got like, I'm a little bit, not even a little bit. I honestly feel this way. I sort of feel like, man, fuck the culture. Man, the culture has niggas afraid to wear sandals. It's like,
Is this true?
I'm like, what are we doing?
It was a socks and sandals era for sure.
Yeah, and I'm like, what are we doing? You're afraid to show your toes? Everyone has them. Like, why are we beholden to this thing that's like kind of wants us to fight? Vince Staples had already kind of said that a little bit, and he's right. Like, it's like, you guys, like we've reached it. We've reached the zenith. Like, what do we want from this actually? And if the only thing you want is wrestling, it's like, yeah, like, because it's not about the beef. Like, there's real beef. Niggas die every day in Chicago over real beef. Like, niggas die every day in Atlanta over real beef. It's not about the beef. What is it about this genre where you're like, I need this to be about the bars and like, it's like, well, what about the expression, And like, yeah, like, I just feel like we're growing up. Like, this is a natural part of it.
Do you feel like you have a space in all of this? And if you don't, then what is your space? Like, what do you represent within all of this?
I'm the Willy Wonka of this shit, man. Like, I'm the Willy Wonka of this shit. Like, I'm not, I feel like I have a space when I talk to Tyler. He's always like, man, it's us, man. Like, it's us, kind of.
And great performance, by the way, yesterday. That was incredible.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Like, I think, no, but I mean, like, I love what Tyler's doing. I love what he's standing for. And there is something, like, we all have imposter syndrome on some level, but I do believe it when he tells me, he's like, man, I get excited by what you're doing. Like, and I feel like I'm not in that circle. Like, I feel like I'm the court jester on the outside. Like, I'm like, cause I just want to have fun. I feel like in a weird way, I'm kind of, because I grew up with like those videos from like Busta Rhymes and Missy and Ludacris, and like people were having fun. And in a weird way, like, I always liked that stuff, but I was like, no, but this fun should be serious. You know, it should kind of reflect, you know, Disney and all that stuff it is fun, but there's always a scary part. There's always something that's real. There's always something that makes you, you know, when I did Coachella years ago, I remember like people were really like kind of freaked out by the fact that I was like, you know, one of y'all is gonna die.
Oh, yeah, that's
next
exactly
week.
what you want to hear with your own Molly sister. Yeah,
But it wasn't to like get a reaction. It was just the truth.
absolutely.
It was just the truth. One of those people in that crowd, more than one, is not here today. They're not around. And we have to be honest with ourselves, and it'll make us grateful for the moment. I don't say things to be salacious. I don't say things to like piss people off. It's like, yeah, like if you got a problem with me, you know, Kid Cudi, if you got a problem, like I'm not here for the beef. It's like, talk to me.
That's real therapy, by the way. You
Yeah.
can actually talk to people.
Yeah, actually talk to
Yeah.
people, you know?
Yeah.
Because I was like, we don't have to agree on everything, but we also don't have to be like, yeah, when I see you, we have to want to kill each other. It's like, man, life is too short.
Then there's other stakes in individual lives that matter more than people that you don't interact with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So that was great. I don't want to keep you here. I know you got to go back to the farm. And this is a special situation, but I do want to ask you about Gilga. Because I keep hearing about it, and I don't know too much about it as much as I'm on Gilga Radio.
You're doing a great job for somebody who doesn't know a lot about what they're doing. I
Thank
just want to tell you.
Thank you. I show up anytime.
No, you show up.
That's what I do.
You really are.
Yeah.
No, Gilga is just it's a place to grow trust.
Mm.
I mean, that's the easiest way to define it to me. I feel like we got the world that everybody wanted. And, you know, early 2000s was everybody being like, yo, like, there's no more gatekeepers and everybody can do what they want. And now we're realizing it's like, yeah, now that you have the entire store, what's the good stuff?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, what's the good stuff? And let's be honest, a lot of niggas don't have taste.
Yeah.
Because they grew up in a time where it didn't matter. It was just like, well, what's the most popular toy? And I'm like, yeah, like popularity, it doesn't mean much anymore because people realize it's like, yeah, like, you know, like the things that are popular just mean that they're loved and hated by the most amount of people.
Right.
It doesn't mean that it's necessarily functional in your everyday life or adds a different point of view. It adds a different lens in your pocket to see things. And I feel like Gilga's a place to grow those things organic.
Mm.
Honestly.
Are there some things you're growing right now?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're literally growing like oranges, mulberries, bananas, you know, kale. We got some dandelion. We got avocados. You know, we're starting to work on more berries, grapefruit. And then, you know, we grow a lot of stuff, but a lot of oranges as well. But also just we started making like, you know, we got this anime with Zach Fox that I'm really excited about. He's doing a great job. I got this other cartoon I'm doing. I got this Country Mouse City Mouse. You know, Bando Stone in the New World like is like a tentpole of ours. You know, I'm really excited by the things that we're making because they're all like, when I say organic, it's like these are not things made to. The process is the product.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So it was cool.
Well, I'll say this: I'm not an excitable person, but Simone is excited. This is great.
You seem excited.
I mean, this is decibel wise. This is as high as you're gonna get me. But I really want to thank you for your time. I think we've unpacked a lot in a short span of time. I'm gonna let you go, but this is Gilga Radio. This is Simone signing off. And thank you.
Thank you.